Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. I want to get into a few discussions on DLT and DTCC. This was some information before the world kind of paused and stopped for the issue at hand that we kind of never came back to, as a lot of excitement in the news with other current immediate articles that we were releasing, plus all of the quarantine. But now the world seems to be stabilizing again, and I want to get back to this information as I feel it's important. So we're going to dive into it now. Albania prepares conditions for DLT technology. They're preparing a legal framework for virtual assets. Currently, there's no law providing for regulation, prohibition, or penalty in connection with virtual assets or related services. The Ministry of Finance and Economy, Anila Danaj, presented the draft law on financial markets based on the technology of distributed registers in the Committee on Economy. She said that the draft serves to make the best use of the benefits offered by technology, but also to address a range of potential risks, such as the creation of fraudulent schemes or unauthorized schemes to provide virtual assets, the risk of using virtual assets for money laundering and market manipulation. Therefore, a full legal framework is needed so that this activity to be fixed, she said. The draft law aims to regulate the conditions for licensing, exercising the activity of operators and stock exchanges and supervising them, as well as preventing abusive practices in the market, where severe fines are stipulated for anyone who violates the provisions of the law, says the Naj. The draft law aims to regulate all infrastructure on the basis of which DLT operates. Digital tokens and virtual currencies are a type of virtual asset, essentially dependent on DLT, that give users the right to benefit ownership or can be used as a payment instrument or utility in the process of purchasing products or services. In the next article, the DTCC experiments with asset tokenization and DLT. The Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation has unveiled two new projects, codenamed Ion and Whitney, to experiment with asset digitalization, distributed ledger technology, and asset tokenization for post-trade settlement in the public and private markets. The Project Ion is an extension of DTCC's ongoing efforts to modernize its core clearing and settlement processes. Developed as a proof of concept, the project reimagines the public market settlement processes through the application of asset digitalization and DLT. Murray Posmanter, the head of Clearing Agency Services and Global Operations and Client Services at DTCC, says the depository is currently engaging with the industry to assess market demand. Project Ion is about working with the industry to further the value proposition on accelerated settlement, leveraging new capabilities such as DLT and tokenized securities, and how DTCC can best deploy these technologies to deliver additional value to clients and the industry, he says. Separately, Project Whitney is a prototype focused on exploring the potential for asset tokenization and digital infrastructure to support private market securities from issuance through secondary markets. Jennifer Peeve, Managing Director, Business Innovation at DTCC, comments, "The private markets are ripe for increased levels of automation and lack much of the infrastructure that has supported the public markets for decades. Project Whitney presents an exciting opportunity to leverage emerging technologies and develop completely new solutions from the ground up." Both Project Ion and Project Whitney remain in the experimentation stage. She stresses, and a decision to progress the projects will be determined following further analysis and feedback from the industry. China's top digital bank to foster DLT innovation in Singapore's universities. Top Chinese digital bank WeBank is partnering with OpenNodes to drive blockchain innovation among Singaporean universities. China's top digital bank WeBank has partnered with OpenNodes a distributed ledger technology platform by Singapore's Infocom Media Development Authority. Through the new partnership, WeBank will provide the Fisco BCOS blockchain platform to Singaporean academics to innovate and build on. The initiative seeks to offer the blockchain platform as an innovation playground to Singapore's student communities to expedite development in the field of DLT. As a requirement of participation in the program, all innovations produced through the Fisco BCOS initiative are made available as open source. The program hopes to stimulate research into blockchain applications for the supply chain and finance sectors. WeBank to support DLT development in Singapore, and students from Singapore University of Technology and Design, Nanyang Technological University, and Singapore Management University are expected to participate in building with the Fisco BCOS platform. We seek to spur the next generation talents into building viable solutions using blockchain to serve the general public, said WeBank's Executive Vice President and Chief Information Officer, Henry Ma. Providing this open source technology as a developer arena will also help us strengthen the stack of our technologies in the process while allowing for better products and services for the general public, he added. WeBank and Open Nodes will host workshops and hackathons to drive awareness and engagement with the platform and support development from the initiative. WeBank to innovate DAML onto Fisco BCOS. And Fisco BCOS is an open source blockchain platform developed by the nonprofit Financial Blockchain Shenzhen Consortium, otherwise known as Fisco, to foster DLT research and innovation through collaboration. The platform's development saw contributions from 20 top Chinese financial technology firms and was established during 2016 before being open sourced the following year. Since launching, Fisco's membership has grown to over 100, including leading firms Tencent, Huawei, and WeBank. Last month, WeBank announced it would integrate with the digital asset smart contract language DAML and the Fisco BCOS platform. The Fisco BCOS platform was used as the open source basis from which China's blockchain service network was developed. Another thing here is when we have the Tencent, Huawei, and WeBank, we know we're connecting back to the Ripple and Stellar technology. And so I wanted to include, since there are a lot of new investors, the Stellar versus Ripple, what's a better choice? Basically scratch that headline and know that they're not competitors, then you can appreciate this article fairly well. I say once you move beyond that and realize they're both used, they're both needed, then when you view the article, you understand a lot more about their specifics in the industry. We're going to go right into the article a little bit because I think it's needed for any of you new investors who do hold XRP and XLM, because it'll give you a little more confidence even throughout this video on the discussion of DLT and DTCC. Ripple was created in 2012 by American programmers David Schwartz and Jed McCaleb, with Chris Larson aiding in the business side of things. The project has its own cryptocurrency called XRP, which has the third highest market capitalization out of all cryptocurrencies. There is often confusion about the difference between Ripple and XRP, so let me clear things up and then move to the Stellar versus Ripple battle. Ripple is the name of the company that is developing software technology, and this technology is powered by Ripple's native cryptocurrency XRP. The Ripple technology was created to allow banks to transfer money internationally in just a few seconds at practically no cost. The reason the founders decided to build it was because the current cross-border system is slow, expensive, and inefficient. The industry is huge, with an estimated 150 trillion being transferred between international banks every year. However, most of these transactions go through a centralized organization called SWIFT. Sending payments through SWIFT can sometimes take days before it reaches the receiving banks, especially if less popular currencies are used. SWIFT also needs to use correspondent banks, which helps connect both the sender and receiver to the network, and every third party that is involved in the transaction charges their own commission, which is why it costs banks so much to send money overseas. However, the Ripple system uses something called distributed ledger technology. And here we have DLT again, which allows banks to bypass third parties and instead trade bank to bank. The XRP cryptocurrency can also be used by banks using Ripple technology, as it helps provide liquidity between two different currencies. In total, there will be 100 billion XRP coins issued, with the Ripple team holding almost 60% of this supply. It is important to remember that although the Ripple protocol is being targeted to the banking industry, it can be used by anyone to send and receive funds wallet to wallet. The Secret Service memo suggested that Nigerian scammers could be behind sophisticated attacks and releasing all of the stimulus payments, but with the correct implementation of blockchain, government agencies can track the relief funds and ensure that these funds reach the right people. The next article, Digital Assets, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation looks to blockchain to improve private and public markets. The DTCC platform that provides clearing and settlement services to the financial services markets, it says it plans to explore the benefits of digitalization in the public and private markets. DTCC is looking to leverage blockchain or distributed ledger technology to possibly strengthen post-trade processes and reduce risk and costs. The DTCC's proposals are contained in two case studies, Project Ion and Project Whitney, as we discussed earlier. So you can see how everything starts connecting when you're paying attention and know where to look for it. An initiative to examine the potential use of DLT, asset digitalization, and other emerging technologies, both Project Ion and Project Whitney remain in the experimentation stage, and a decision to progress the projects will be determined following further analysis. Project Ion seeks to build on DTCC's efforts over the past several years to further optimize the settlement process in the public markets, while Project Whitney considers opportunities to provide increased levels of digitalization throughout the private market asset lifecycle. Mike Bodson, the president and CEO at DTCC, said they are building on a legacy of innovation with projects to strengthen post-trade processes. These case studies reimagine the private market's lifecycle and the public market settlement processes, and they could significantly modernize and enhance how trading activity is processed in the future, and we look forward to working collaboratively with our clients, regulators, and other key stakeholders as we advance these concepts in partnership with the industry. A future of digital assets. Over the past several years, DTCC has undertaken an analysis of its core clearing and settlement processes, aiming to modernize the backbone of the U.S. capital markets infrastructure. Project Ion explores whether the digitalization of assets and the application of DLT can accelerate settlement and reduce cost and risk for the industry. DTCC is proposing a future vision of an alternative digital settlement system with the potential to offer the benefits of accelerated settlement while retaining the advantages of central netting and prevent fragmentation of the clearing and settlement ecosystem. DTCC developed a proof of concept to validate the proposed business and is now engaging the industry to assess market demand. Murray Posmanter, the head of Clearing Agency Services and Global Operations and Client Services at DTCC, said the financial services industry is going through a tech revolution that creates opportunity. DTCC is looking to adapt and embrace new tech to prepare for the future of post-trade digital assets. Project Ion is about working with the industry to further the value proposition on accelerated settlement, leveraging new capabilities such as DLT and tokenized securities, and to learn how DTCC can best deploy these technologies to deliver additional value to clients in the industry. DTCC states that companies are staying private longer. Project Whitney is a prototype focused on exploring the potential for asset tokenization and digital infrastructure to support private market securities from the issuance through secondary markets. The company believes that public markets are highly efficient, but the same efficiency is not enjoyed in the private market. Jennifer Peeve, Managing Director of Business Innovation at DTCC, believes that private markets are ripe for increased levels of automation. Projects Ion and Whitney represent the next steps in our digitization journey, Peeve said, and both serve as examples of practical designs to strengthen post-trade processes and provide a resilient, secure, and efficient post-trade infrastructure for the industry. In 2019, DTCC's subsidiaries processed securities transactions valued at more than US $2.15 with a Q quadrillion dollars. Its depository provides custody and asset servicing for securities issues from 170 countries and territories valued at US $63 trillion. On the next article, DTCC unveils a proposal to explore further digitalization in the public and private markets. DTCC is to collaborate with the industry to evaluate whether digitalization delivers benefits for lifecycle management in the private markets and the settlement of securities in the public markets. DTCC further experiments with blockchain and asset tokenization. The DTCC has been experimenting with scaling blockchain at its core business for 3 years. Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, the DTCC, the major equity clearing and settlement services provider, has launched the two projects to provide a new framework for asset digitalization and tokenization, again dubbed Ion and Whitney. We're going to skip down into this article just a little further. DTCC finds blockchain scales. Project Whitney presents an exciting opportunity to leverage emerging technologies and develop completely new solutions from the ground up, said Jennifer Peeve, Managing Director, Business Innovation at DTCC. The member-owned market utility has been experimenting with blockchain for 3 years, focused on creating more efficient capital markets. In 2017, it unveiled a project in partnership with Axoni, IBM, and R3 to introduce the proof of concept for settling credit derivatives. DTCC operates trade repositories across the globe. In the U.S., it supports trade reporting to the CFTC through its U.S. swap data repository SDR, and DTCC also operates a trade repository approved by the Japan Financial Services Agency, JFSA, and DTCC's centralized platform provides its clients with the ability to report trades only once and seamlessly meet regulatory requirements to multiple jurisdictions. Goldman Sachs and Barclays Bank have secret crypto trading desk plans. Multiple sources report that the firms are investigating cryptocurrency, but both deny any concrete plans. This is an older article, but I wanted to include it just to show the timeline. Sources from investment bank Goldman Sachs have told Bloomberg that the firm is considering a custodial service for cryptocurrency investment funds in response to a request for comment. A spokesman told Bloomberg, "At this point, we have not reached a conclusion on the scope of our digital asset offering." And Raina Yared, the managing director of the company's securities division, said in May that the firm was being inundated with requests for cryptocurrency services. That same month, the firm hired someone for the new role of head of digital asset markets and announced that it would be trading contracts linked to the price of Bitcoin with its own money while seeking regulatory approval to trade Bitcoin itself. And the company remains undecided, however. And speaking to Bloomberg, the spokesman made it clear that no timeline has been set for any new services. 2 employees of Barclays Bank have been working on a cryptocurrency project for their employer, according to Business Insider. The information was published on their LinkedIn profiles, but a Barclays spokesman denied that the bank has any plans to launch a cryptocurrency trading desk. Chris Tyrer, who was the bank's global head of energy trading, now lists his occupation as head of digital assets project, Barclays Investment Bank. According to his profile, he has been in that role for 8 months. Matthew Jobby Duval, who worked for the bank as an oil options trader, now lists his occupation as digital assets trading consultant at Barclays. He posted that he had been hired as a consultant to produce a business plan for integrating a digital assets trading desk into Barclays Markets business, the revenue opportunity, competitive landscape, budgeting, and planning for delivery, IT build-out, capital and balance sheet impact. Duval confirmed to Business Insider that the information was accurate, but then removed it from his profile. A news outlet called the ICO Journal reported in March that the bank was planning to open a cryptocurrency trading desk, citing 2 anonymous sources with knowledge of the matter. Then in April, anonymous sources told Bloomberg that the bank had performed an assessment of client interest in the field. In response to the report, a Barclays spokesman reiterated that the bank is not planning anything concrete. Cloaks and daggers aside, Barclays did accept Coinbase as a customer in April, becoming the first British bank to provide a bank account to a cryptocurrency exchange. And most of you new traders and new investors most likely came in through Coinbase. Financial institutions announcing some kind of new cryptocurrency service is becoming increasingly common. So the prevaricating of the 2 firms already seems a little odd. To name a few very recent examples, Intercontinental Exchange has opened an exchange for Bitcoin futures. The London Stock Exchange has listed a cryptocurrency for an IPO. And NASDAQ is now allowing one of its listed companies to accept cryptocurrency in its own IPO. So again, the reason I'm going through so much is because DLT is the future of the new financial industry. DTCC is on the top level of executive, enterprise, institutional, and wholesale market. It is the top tier and the highest volume. So the reason I'm showing you that is that showing, again on this channel, as we focus on Ripple and Stellar, that the connection to the new banking system is massive, that the facts alone are enough to get you hype. Goldman Sachs bets on tokenization and stablecoins, says CEO. Solomon said the bank might consider launching a cryptocurrency after JP Morgan Chase revealed its own token. In an interview with French financial newspaper Les Échos, Goldman Sachs CEO looked to clear the air about the bank's cryptocurrency ambitions after speculation swirled for months about its real intentions. David Sullivan, who has been the chief executive officer of the investment bank since 2018, said Goldman Sachs is exploring the potential of tokenization and stablecoins as part of its efforts to modernize the legacy payment system. Most times when you hear legacy payment systems, it's referring back to the SWIFT system. Also today, you're going to hear that stated as the old, antiquated system. Solomon added that he might consider launching a cryptocurrency after JP Morgan Chase has become the first U.S. bank to launch its own digital token. Absolutely, many people are looking in this direction, he said. Concerning Facebook's recently announced Libra, the investment banker said that although Goldman is not part of Mark Zuckerberg's digital currency project, it closely monitors blockchain developments. Quite apart from the stablecoins, the next stage of the exploration for Goldman Sachs is asset tokenization and frictionless payments, the CEO further explains. In response to client interest in digital currencies, the U.S. bank is exploring how to best serve them in this space, the bank said earlier. JP Morgan entering the market has boosted sentiment. Goldman Sachs has been clearing CBOE and CME Bitcoin futures contracts for over a year now and is providing clients liquidity for those futures. As for physical Bitcoin, its top executive repeatedly said the bank appears unlikely to fully support the underlying cryptos until it has the backing of the U.S. regulators. Issues with the cryptocurrency's volatility and security have all been barriers to entry for institutional investors, but with establishments like JP Morgan entering the market, the move has boosted sentiment. Earlier this week, JP Morgan introduced its own digital token for real-world use, dubbed JPM Coin. The new coin will facilitate the transfer of payments between institutional clients and the latest step in Wall Street's evolving approach to the crypto space. JP Morgan is also widening the experiment with the release of its own blockchain platform, Quorum, which allows institutions to keep track of financial data. Quorum is based on Ethereum, and as we exposed months ago, Ripple, Stellar, and Ethereum are the three major players involved with the new financial system. DTCC, the test shows blockchain can support 100 million trades per day. The test should give hope to DLT fans who have struggled to show that blockchain can handle large trading volumes. The DTCC, a post-trade market infrastructure provider for the financial industry, announced the results of a benchmark study on Wednesday, which demonstrated for the first time ever that distributed ledger technology, DLT, is capable of supporting average daily trading volumes in the U.S. equity market of more than 100 million trades per day. For those of you not in the know, DLT is a synonym for blockchain. It is being used more and more in corporate speak as a means of rebranding away from blockchain, which people are starting to have their doubts about, and to make the technology sound fancier and more interesting than it actually is. So when you hear companies talk about DLT, what they're talking about is just simply blockchain. And that's kind of their new way to move on. From saying crypto, they say digital assets. From saying blockchain, they say distributed ledger technology. And two of the best in this industry are Ripple and Stellar. The study, which was conducted by Accenture with additional support provided by technology service providers Digital Asset, DA, and R3, proved that DLT can perform at levels necessary to process an entire trading day's volume at peak rates, which equates to 115 million daily trades or 6,300 trades per second for 5 continuous hours. Currently, public blockchains supporting cryptocurrencies operate at single or double-digit per second performance, which until now was only the indication of the potential volume that DLT might be able to support. DTCC did note that the study will act more as a starting point for further testing, as it only tested basic functionality. As such, more tests will need to be done to see if DLT can meet the resiliency, security, operational needs, and regulatory requirements of its existing clearance and settlement system. We are excited to lead this important work to advance the performance capabilities of DLT and help create new possibilities for leveraging the technology more broadly across financial markets, said Murray Posmenter, the head of clearing agency services at DTCC. As an early adopter of DLT, we are encouraged by the results of the study because they prove that the technology's performance can scale to meet the needs of markets of different sizes and maturity. So guys, looking back through the discussion tonight, if you've been here for a while, it's like a refresher. I'm sure you know a lot of it. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you learned something new. But for the new investors, this is all going to be new. You know, they hear invest in Ripple, they hear invest in Stellar, the ticker symbols of XRP and XLM. We hear that these are something new technology, new financial system. It's exciting. Don't really know what that means. So tonight, that's really what we were breaking down, is the enormity of what these are involved in, on what they're moving, the scale and size of the volume of the massive amount of money. For example, the DTCC, we've discussed over $2 quadrillion annually of volume that it's moving. That's pretty massive. So again, looking through this, the DLT and the DTCC, both again connected back to Stellar and to Ripple, two favorites of this channel, because everywhere we look, we find them together. We find them not competition. We find them focused on different lanes, and we've shared time and time again, even directly from CEOs in the community in the blockchain, stating word for word the exact same thing. So again, guys, for me, I really like the ability of both of them. And again, each what they're focused on, their goal, and how they are achieving that goal, their focus, and the lanes that they have chosen. So I wanted to share this. It was actually intended before the issue at hand, and that kind of made things a challenge personally for me. But I wanted to get back as I have a few videos on focus, and it will be excellent for all of you new investors. Again, I want to leave you with a final thought. Rise up, start fresh, see the bright opportunity in each new day. Remember, this is not financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and share these videos. I appreciate you, and we'll catch you in the next one.